Hey, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahshai, Bashim HaKadosh. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and blessing to you, brothers, pushing the truth throughout the four winds. This video is going to be entitled Gospel. And it's just something that a lot of people, they know what it means. They'll think they're preaching it and just so on and so forth. Everybody ties themselves to the gospel. You know, everybody ties themselves to it, to being evangelists. You know, an evangelist teaching the gospel. You know, but not having a sense of, when it comes to the truth, what the gospel and who the gospel is for. We understand, like when you read this definition of gospel right here, it's a reward for good tidings. Good tidings. So it's basically good news, you know, a glad tiding of the kingdom of the Most High, soon to be set up, and subsequently also of Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, the founder of this kingdom. So people who kind of get an idea and thinking that they're included in the gospel and in the good news. You know, I pray through the Spirit that this is edifying, you know, going into who it's speaking to and what it's all about. Okay. So Luke 4:17, it says, "And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written, The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recover the sight of the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord." So we understand that what it's speaking on when it says Isaiah is we go to the book of Isaiah. So as we go to Isaiah, you always want to get the context and see who this epistle or this letter was written to. Okay. So this is Isaiah 1:1. It says, "The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me." Okay, so we see that it's speaking of Israel, okay, concerning Judah and Jerusalem, okay. It says, "The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel," key thing, Israel, this is a nation of people, "doth not know, my people doth not consider." So it's telling you these people were rebelling, and they were just out of whack. You know, they were going against the Most High. They don't even know who they are. Okay, so these are signs of things to look for today, because keep in mind, this was prophesied. That's why I went to Isaiah, and it's telling you who this letter was written to. Okay. It says, a sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel into anger." So it's giving you the context on who it's speaking to. They're gone away backward. So In hindsight, these people are lost. Because if you're going away backwards, you're walking blindly. You can't see where you're going. Okay? But this is to the children of Israel. This is who this epistle and this letter was written to. All right? So now that we have understanding on who this letter was written to, we're going to go to just more to show the wickedness of who this is speaking on. This is Psalms 106. I'm going to start at 35. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. It was a trap. Same thing we see going on today with Jake and Babylon. Okay? Everything that's set up is a snare to fool, Jake into believing and falling for the okie doke. Okay? Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. You'll see these type of things looking into Christmas, birthdays, and pagan holidays, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. And the land was polluted with blood. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a whoring with their own inventions. Okay? Therefore was the wrath of the Lord kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance. Okay? So this is going into captivity. So the people, when it was speaking in Luke about that needed to be basically rescued, this is why they need to be rescued, because they were going off. Okay, so you need to be saved from what you're going through. Okay, and he gave them into the hand of the heathen, and they that hated them ruled over them. That's what we're seeing and witnessing today. That's why Yahweh Shah was needed to bring us back into the fold. Okay, their enemies also oppressed them, and they were brought unto subjection under their hand. Okay, so that's when slavery, you get being under subjection. You have to listen and follow what goes on or what happens in slavery. If you don't obey, it's death or beatings, things of that nature. Okay. Many times did he deliver them, but they provoked him with their counsel and were brought low for their iniquity. Nevertheless, he regarded their affliction when he heard their cry. And he remembered for them his covenant and repented according to the multitude of his mercies. It says he made them also to be pitied of all those that carried them captives. So you get times of thinking, okay, if it was up to Esau and it wasn't the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, we wouldn't even be a people anymore. We would be destroyed. Okay, so everything had to lighten up, but Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai showed his wrath through Esau and the other nations, and we went into captivity. Just look at it today. Nobody likes Jake. No nation on this planet likes us, But the reins had to be pulled back to where the physical stuff just couldn't continue on, to where it was like no Israelites left, Let me see. Save us, 47, save us, O Lord, our power, and gather us from among the heathen to give thanks unto thy holy name and to triumph in thy praise. Blessed be the Lord power of Israel from everlasting to everlasting, and let all the people say, Amen, praise ye the Lord. So it shows Israel going into captivity and being beaten and punished, but they get saved from it. So that's what the gospel is. That's what the good news is, okay? And this is going into, when we read Luke, this is what, in Luke 4:17, it says, and there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. Okay, so when you go into that, it goes here. It says, the Spirit of the Lord power is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. Okay, he has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted and proclaim liberty to the captives. We know who the captives are. And the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Sounds just like slavery and being in punishment. Okay? That was the purpose of Yahweh Shaddai bringing the northern and southern kingdom back together, and we getting freed from this captivity and bondage that we're in. Okay? That's what salvation is. All right? To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn. Okay? Sighing and crying in the midst of the city, Ezekiel 9:4. Okay? To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion. Okay, so this is a people. We're mourning. Okay, to give unto them beauty for ashes, and oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Okay, so all the last shall be first and the first shall be last. That's what we're saying. It's just going to be a great turn. Okay, that they might be called the trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. And they shall build the old waste. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, and the desolations of many generations. So a lot of things are going to be accomplished, and this is the good news. Okay, so this is what you look forward to. Okay, this is the promise. This is a promise that's going to happen to the children of Israel. Okay, so all the generations, like everything is going to be set aright. Okay, and strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. Men shall call you ministers of our power. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. So this is being set aright and brought back to the top, where the nation of Israel truly belongs. That's the good news. That's the gospel. And all of this is through Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Okay. That I want to say, Shalom.